Hey, Tim and Barry here again. Social News Network TV. How are you, Barry?
Hey, how are you? Good afternoon.
Yeah, we are
Good afternoon, Sweden.
Yeah, exactly. We're so broke, me and Barry, so we should actually ask you for a Swish cash contribution so we don't even have a green screen yet, but that will come. At least we have worked out our studio background.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, we have a few options. This is one of them, but as you saw in the intro, we have varieties of this, but when we're done with it, it's going to be good. I think the red-black one is better looking than the blue-white one, so we'll see.
Yeah,
it's okay. We'll start here, and then when we make $30 each, we'll buy a green screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this
is on my credit card.
Yeah. So this is episode 4, and I just wanted to let everybody know that it's a little difficult in the beginning to decide on days and time because of the time difference and how we work and so on. But we're going to try to do at least one episode, maybe 2 a week to start with, and then we'll see what happens.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you first, what did you think about the Trump rally now in Selma, in North Carolina, in your state? Did you see the whole thing?
Yeah, they didn't show it on a local TV, or they didn't show it on Fox, but I watched it live on YouTube. Actually, they had it on live, so I watched that down and watched it. It was hilarious. It was absolutely hilarious because he was just going into everything that's going wrong with our society today, how our society has gone so backward ass with this critical race theory and this indoctrination of the children and trying to tell the children in kindergarten, first grade, and second grade that if they have a penis, they don't have to identify themselves as a boy. They can be a girl if they want. I mean, that's how bad our society has gotten. And it was funny. I thought one part of I guess he did a rally next to train tracks. Did you hear that?
Yeah. Exactly.
When the train came by, he was blowing his horn and honking his horn, and then Trump stopped. He's like, "Oh my God, that conductor! He's a real Trump fan." Everybody was cheering him on with the train, and he kept blowing it all the way down. I mean, just stupid things like that, or little things like that, I thought were hilarious. But he says the same thing, and he gets this crowd going. I mean, and the crowds that attend that are Trump fans, they are so far against this whole indoctrination of children and the education system here in America, how they don't want any parents involved in their decision making and their education of their own children, which is crazy, which is absolutely insane. So I just think the quicker the Republicans take back the House and the Senate, I think it would be much better for Trump chances to get reelected, because I don't even think Joe Biden's going to last 4 years. I really don't. I mean, this guy is just there. It's gotten to the point where when he goes off onto, offsite or out of Washington, and he go visits different states and stuff, his staff actually pulls the plug on his broadcasting. How bad is that? When they see that he's going off script, that happened this week. They pulled the plug on him.
Yeah, so I think that, we'll come into that later when we're going to talk about that bird that did a nice thing on the president. But I agree with you. It's so funny to see Trump, how happy he is. And when it was the rallies before, when they did YMCA, YMCA, he was just doing the moves with the hand.
Dancing.
Now he's moving his legs too. And they have made some funny slides. I don't know if you've seen this song. There is a new single out with Kid Rock.
No.
It's called Freedom Song or something like that. I'm going to put it in here in this episode, actually. And if it turns out to be red, which means that they own the rights to the music, then I'll just put it below as a link. It's
Oh, okay.
hilarious because it's a video. It's a really nice rock video, and you can see Trump dance there, and and everybody in the choir goes in like, "Let's go, Brandon," and they're doing all of the stuff against Biden and that they want Trump back. It's a fantastic new song. I don't think it's called Freedom Song. It's called something else, but that's what it is, and it's with Kid Rock. And
is it on YouTube?
yeah, it's on YouTube. That's why I'm going to link it down here.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, or I'll send it to you. But
you know, the funny thing about the Trump rallies is it seems like he is so at home, getting up there and speaking and making fun of everybody and making fun of the Democrats and making fun of our Biden and how our society, and he just seems so at home in front of thousands and thousands of people.
Exactly. No, it's
and it just, and they rally behind him, and it gets him going, and it energizes him, and it's amazing to see his rallies. And I think I said this in a couple episodes before. You're going to see him out probably doing a rallies, maybe not now, but come after the July 4th, July, August, September. You're going to see him every week.
Absolutely.
He's going to be doing a rally every week in support of the senators and the congressmen on the midterm elections. It's going to be huge, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Absolutely. I had just checked it out. It's called We the People with Kid Rock. I'll put the link in the description box, and I think everybody should watch it because it's a fantastic song and it's really funny. And it's like you say, when you see these people behind him, he has his back against everybody on that back.
The bleachers.
Yeah. And all of the people there are screaming, and they're blacks for Trump and women for Trump. And then in the end, it turns around and it says, "Oh, you fake news, CNN, you should turn the cameras." Right side are the only ones turning the cameras around.
Right.
I said, "You have the better seats, but they will all be famous." And he's saying all these different things. And he talked to these women that was from North Carolina. He talked to these 8 women that have seen him like 75 times now. On every rally they go. And then he says, "What about your husbands? Do they allow you to follow me like this? I love you. You're so beautiful." And they were like cheering like that. It's like you say, he really enjoys himself. He has fun, and the people around him, like the senators and governors coming in from other states. "Oh, are you here? Did you come from Arkansas or whatever other state?" You know, it's fantastic to see.
Yeah, some of the Trump rallies, you'll see the same people in the bleachers behind him. There's a couple black guys that have t-shirts, blacks for Trump.
Yeah. Those are like the team. They travel around.
I don't know how they get the money or who's paying them to do whatever they're doing, but they're at every rally. And yeah, you recognize, "Oh yeah, I know that guy and this guy." And
I actually think that some of these groups are paid by the Trump team, because I think Right Side Broadcasting said something like, some of them are not paid, but some of them, like, he wants, of course, a fan base. So he can show that he has Latinos and Asians and this and this and this. But some of them are paying out of pocket, and they just say that whenever Trump, I have my own company. As soon as Trump is somewhere, I'm packing up and leaving. I can't miss a rally.
Yeah. And they forget about the hotels. They probably have their own RVs or campers that they just sleep in.
Yeah, and I said that to myself, like when I had a Swedish episode on my TV Team Sweden the other day. Like, wow, if we just had one political leader that is like him. And then I was thinking, of course not, because he's not a politician. He's a businessman. Right. He's a rare breed. He's different just as a human being. And then
I've said this years ago, before we even had the internet and all this other stuff, and politics was politics. I said, I am so sick and tired of politicians running for president that I just wish we had a businessman.
Yeah.
A businessman. And I don't know if you remember the name Lee Iacocca.
Yeah, I remember it.
You remember him back in the 80s? He saved Chrysler.
I remember the name, but not
okay. Well, Detroit, the auto industry was in big trouble back in the 80s, and Chrysler was going bankrupt.
Yeah.
And they brought in Lee Iacocca, a brilliant businessman, and they brought him in there, and he turned Chrysler around to be a profitable company. And he was always been known as the man who saved Detroit. And then he was going to run for president, and he was going to run as a Democrat. And I said, you know what? I don't care if he's a Republican or if he's a Democrat. The guy's a brilliant businessman and he can change Washington. But he decided not to run. But I was for that because I didn't care. I didn't want a politician in there. That's when Reagan obviously took over. But I wanted a businessman, and the same thing. The guy who is known as the greatest chief executive officer of a big business was General Electric, and that was Jack Welch.
Yeah,
you remember him? Jack Welch took over GE, and he turned GE into making light bulbs into a worldwide conglomerate, financial business. They're making airplane engines now. They're making all kinds of stuff now. And he was going to run for president after he left General Electric. And he was a brilliant businessman. And I'm like, yes, I'm all for it. He was on all the cable news channels, Fox, CNN, the business channels. And he was like, yeah, I might run for president. And they were like, well, are you going to run as a Democrat or Republican? He's like, well, I don't know yet. But he would have been perfect. And now Trump comes in and he's a brilliant businessman. He's a CEO of a multi-billion-dollar real estate company. And because he's a Republican, everybody hates him.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, he had apprentice for what was 14 seasons or something. And everybody in Sweden, as soon as we talk about Trump and they don't know anything else than what they hear from CNN, they all say like this: what do you mean brilliant businessman? He got bankrupt 3 times. And I said, well, that's the thing. If you go bankrupt 3 times and you lose everything, you're on the verge of losing billions, and you manage to get yourself out of that and is still a billionaire, that says something about his skills and the will to take risks and so on. And just running, I don't think a regular Swede, possibly not even a regular American, understands how difficult and how stressful it is to run for president, how much it costs, how many hours a day it's involved for years. And then when you are president, holy shit, how many hours didn't he work? And he worked more than Biden because he's only sleeping, somebody else is doing.
Well, they were saying that, Trump works 16 hours a day, 7 days a week when he was president. Because
it's his life interest. America is his interest. He sees America as his business and he wants to save it. And he has saved so many companies, and he saved America once, and I think he can save it again. But it's going to be very close to disaster, because the way your government is handling this now, it's a mess. It's such a mess. It's such a mess. And America is so divided, and it's a shame. It's such a shame. That takes me into the next topic, Elon Musk. Yeah. He's also a brilliant businessman, but I don't think is he born in America? I think so. Okay. No, I think he's from South Africa. Yeah, because I was thinking about that. But either way, I don't see him as a president material. No, I don't think he is either. But the funny thing is now, because he bought into Twitter, that he didn't like the way the social media company was moving and blocking everybody and canceling their, Twitter accounts and all that stuff. He was going to be part of the board of directors. Yep. And now he says, no, I don't want to be a part of the board because that's going to limit my ability to take over the company or to buy more shares, because he owns like a little over 9% now. And I think as the board, their bylaws say any board member is not allowed to own more than 14%. So do you think there is an interest for him to actually take over the whole thing? Yeah, maybe he wants to do a takeover of Twitter. That would be fantastic, because that would be great, but that's freaking everybody out. It is freaking everybody out. But Joe Rogan and Dave Rubin and Dan Bongino and Donald Trump and you and me and everybody, we can tweet like hell. And Tucker Carlson, they're constantly blocking everybody from their tweets and suspending their accounts. And all what's her name? The black girl. She's so fantastic. The new star. Oh, yeah. Candace Owens. My God, she's a genius. Sometimes she's a little like that Jewish guy. He talks like, you have to have, you have to have both of them on half speed. But anyway, they're fantastically intelligent. So Elon Musk, okay, so you think that he maybe not 100%, but how much do you think he needs to own to actually decide that we're going to let everybody back in and we're going to have free speech? And And he has this edit button that he wants to
Yeah.
add and so on.
Yeah, I don't know what the percentage that he has to buy in order to take it over. But he can well afford it regardless, whatever it is.
Yeah, he can afford it, all right. And
That would be great, because now he's saying, oh, I'm going to allow Trump back on Twitter and this and that. And all these politicians that got kicked off of Twitter had their accounts suspended indefinitely. I mean, that's such BS, just because you don't like their political views.
exactly. I want to ask you something else that some of my viewers and our new subscribers here have asked me about. And that is, you know, when I met you, Barry, and we were in New York and New Jersey, and then we came down to Miami, and all of these years in Del Rey, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, and you were in Naples, and now you're in North Carolina, and so on. You remember that I always told you that I always like to go to the American supermarkets,
Yeah.
even Walgreens and Walmart or Publix or King's or whatever they were called. I was so impressed that you had so much on the shelves. It was so much diversity, so much to choose from, so many different of everything. And you told me something before, and I want you to tell our viewers, how does it look if you go into a store today? Is it true what we hear, that the great free country America, that your shelves are not full anymore?
It depends. Some products, like a lot of the frozen food, it's empty. It's empty, but it's also because the cost of meat and produce is so expensive here in America. Everything has gone through the roof because of this inflation. Now, inflation just hit what, 8.5% this month?
Yep.
I mean, that's crazy. That means all the goods and services going out to the retail market, to us, are going to be expensive. So people are buying up frozen foods and just throwing them in the freezer. So you go down the frozen food section, and it's all the shelves are empty. You know, we got plenty of toilet paper and tissue and napkins and all that stuff, paper towel, potato, junk food. We have plenty of that stuff. But the produce departments are getting cut. A lot of the orders.
I even heard from my friends in New York and Florida that there are other things, like when you go to Walgreens and CVS, that vitamins are like running out, and
you go that too. You go to the pharmacies and the drugstores, and all the vitamins are out. You can't find zinc anymore, or vitamin D3. All that stuff is gone.
That's crazy.
And it's probably all made in China anyways.
Absolutely.
So, you know, it's probably sitting on a boat off the coast of California.
So what do you think now? We have May coming up soon.
Yep.
And it's like Easter now. And so what about, what do we have then? May, June, July, August, September. Okay, so we have 6 months, a little more than that, until the midterms. Do you see anything? I mean, with the Rasmussen poll and the other polls I've seen, Biden is down to like soon nothing in
Nothing.
approval.
He's down in every poll in every category.
Yeah.
So the way he's handling inflation, the way he's handling the border, the way he's handling COVID, his foreign policy, everything is down in the 30s. And that's absolutely impossible to get reelected.
That's what I heard. That so if the Democrats already know that they will lose the midterms, are these old crazy kooks like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, do they think that they finally throw in the towel and quit, or what will happen?
I hope. I hope. But they're in panic mode. You know, they're really, really in panic mode because they see the polls, they see the economy, they see how frustrated, because, you know, I keep saying, you know, Democrats got to put gas in their car just like Republicans.
Yeah.
You know, and when they see the price of gas and they see the price of food at the grocery stores, you know, it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican. That's a tax on you. That's a tax on the consumers. So it's going to be very scary for the Democrats come this fall, come this summer. You're going to see they're all in panic mode already.
So you think there is a big chance that the Republicans will take back the House and the Senate? And then if they do that, do you think, as Dave Rubin and Dan Bongini and those guys, that it's basically a highway for Trump to win back the White House?
Yep. Yeah.
And
if he decides to run, but I think he's going to run.
Yeah. I mean, this last rally, he even asked everybody, do you want me to run again? And people got nuts. I mean, what is his name? We make fun of him here in Sweden sometimes. He's in charge of all of the containers coming into America.
Transportation, Buttigieg.
Pete Buttigieg. Yeah, he's gay. We call him Butty Boy here. Pete Butty Boy.
Okay.
And Pete Butty Boy, he's in charge of that.
Yeah.
And he's on like, what do you call it? In Sweden, we call it kid leave. He's home with his children.
Yeah.
Changing diapers.
Yeah.
But he's gay. So how did
he's on maternity leave, they call it.
But he's gay. So how did he create the baby? Did he buy a baby or?
Yeah, they adopted.
Jesus
But he was on maternity leave, and everybody was laughing. They were hysterical. Who were they? They were trying to say, well, I guess Pete's on maternity leave now, and I would love to see how he's going to breastfeed his baby.
Yeah, that was my joke. Like, how did they create it? Did they buy him? Yeah. So I mean, yeah, that's really crazy. And I mean, it's so bad that even the birds don't like Biden. So why don't we take a break here for just a minute, and we'll show you what happened to Biden the other day. If you haven't
Joe.
Yeah. So we'll be back in a second.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not hyperbole. It's about being made in America. A lot of that has to do with this industry.
So yeah, Barry, what do you think about that? The bird shit on the goddamn president. Shit.
And you notice how Fox is the only one showing him?
Was it only Fox or Newsmax as well?
And Newsmax, they're the right wing. CNN never showed it. MSNBC, CBS, ABC, NBC, all.
When was this?
He was out in Iowa. I think it was yesterday.
Oh yeah, he was in Iowa yesterday because he talked about. That's what he said again, that he thinks that Putin is a war criminal.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he started to go off script again, and then they cut his feed.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, so you see it on YouTube and you see it on the social media websites, but you won't see it on. But if that happened to Trump,
they would have rolled it 1,000 times.
It would have been on the news 24/7.
They did that once.
Hilarious. It couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Even the pigeons hate him.
Yeah, but I mean, so you have him, you have Biden, you have Kamala Harris, and you have Nancy Pelosi. You have three whack jobs closest to the nukes.
The three most powerful people.
It's incredible. And even if I look at the other ones behind them, I mean, just to hear them talk in the Congress, when you hear Nadler and Shifty Schiff and these people, they can't be well. They must feel bad.
No, they're just all. They don't think straight. I just don't know. Maybe it's just because they're in Washington for so long that they're in that bubble and they're in the swamp, and that's how they're supposed to act. But it's just like, how can you go home to your constituents and talk to them face to face after what you've just done in Washington?
Well, what does normal people, like, even if we say normal Democrats, is your mother a Democrat?
No.
Okay, so any Democrats at your job or your friends or anywhere, what do they say as Democrats today?
Oh, I have some crazy Democrats that I work with, and they're just so anti-Fox. They think that Fox News, everybody that watches Fox News or Newsmax or anything like that, are all brainwashed. They're like, I can't believe you even watch that television station or that news outlet, or I can't believe you're online reading this stuff. CNN is the most fair-minded, balanced news organization. And
are they still thinking that?
Yeah. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Are you serious? I said, didn't you? And I would go off on different topics, and they're like, oh, you're just brainwashed. I'm like, okay. You can't talk to them. You can't reason with them.
So are they happy with the job Biden is doing?
Yeah.
But what about when they see the gas prices and the food prices and all of that?
They're blaming it on Putin.
Jesus. It has nothing to do with Putin.
I said, what about before, when Biden was in office for the first 12 months, long before long before Putin even invaded Ukraine. And they're like, oh, well, that was Donald Trump's fault. And Biden had to redo all of Trump's policies on energy. And I'm just like, okay.
So they think it's better to buy shitty oil than drilling your own natural oil.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. People are so stupid. That's what we say in Sweden. We're asking people like, now you've seen the Islamic invasion, you see the crimes, you see that all these Afghan boys that are not boys, they're 35-year-old bearded fucking men raping all our white fucking beautiful girls. And they say, oh, it happened before. Maybe it happened before, but they got raped by fucking Sweden. That was probably okay for them compared to a fucking Afghan. And
exactly.
These fucking shit people from Somalia, they don't work, they go on welfare and they walk around here, they have 8 kids, and we ask them, are you happy with this? We have to help people. What do you mean help people? How did they come to Sweden? It's like 12 countries in between. Why didn't they stop in Austria or Switzerland or France? Why the fuck do you come all the way up here? Because they get everything for free. And that's what AOC and those.
That's what they want. That's what they wanted to America. That's
everything.
Why they're all coming across our southern border.
What is your friends, your Democratic friends, if you talk to them about critical race theory and the gender shit and all this, teaching children to change their dick to a little, snatch? What the fuck?
They avoid it.
They must see that it's sick.
Yeah. I said, what do you think about critical race theory? Like you just said, and then they're like, oh, well, they have to learn sooner or later. I'm like, yeah, but don't you think kindergarten is a little young?
Yeah, it's disgusting. I talked about it. I made an episode the other day and I said, I'm angry. I'm really angry. And I got a lot of views on that one. And I had to put it only for 1.5 minutes on YouTube, and then the rest was on SwebTube because I would have been cut off. And that's what I was going to say about YouTube. If you look at Right Side Broadcasting Network, they are the ones who is they show the Trump rally on YouTube.
Yeah.
The next day it's out. As soon as it's been live, YouTube is on them and they cut it out and you can only watch 1 minute here and 1 minute there. So you got to go into rumble.com if you want to see the full rallies the day after, or 2 days after, whenever. Everything is on Getter and Rumble. But I think that it would be amazing if Elon Musk got total control of Twitter so that Trump's Truth Social and Twitter can interact in some way so we can upload and have our channels there.
Right.
That would be absolutely fantastic.
What is going on with Trump's Truth Social?
Truth Social. Well, it's out there. You signed up, right?
Yeah, I subscribed to it.
Yeah. So
it only shows like 12,000 subscribers.
Because the thing is that he got so many subscribers. It was like a couple of million. I mean, he had almost 90 million followers on Twitter.
Right.
And I read that the technical side of the platform is not ready to allow people all over America and then the world to upload and to become members. So they're testing it now with these 12,000 or I think it's 26 now. And they just test everything. So when they unleash it to millions, they don't want to get 26 million support mails the next day.
Okay.
So this is a technical.
I think I asked about this before.
It's a very, very difficult to launch. What's his name with the My Pillow guy, Mike Lindell.
Yeah.
He started Frank Speech, and the site is very good, but the flat platform never worked out because he got like 20 million subscribers in 2 days, and it just exploded.
Oh,
okay. So they have to be really, really careful about how they do it on Truth Social. But the last message I saw was that it will be full-scale America within a couple of months, and then they will release it to the world so we can become members and upload. But we'll do it through Social News Network TV.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. We got to get our T-shirts going and our hats.
Yeah, I mean, this is episode 4. When we come to episode 20, we're going to have merchandise in a store. We'll sell stuff.
Support Social News Network. Buy a T-shirt.
Yeah. So I think we'll cut for today and let everybody know this. I've planned to say this. I've never said it before. Yes, I have. Don't forget to subscribe, Push the
Yes.
notification bell so you don't miss an episode. Share it with people you know. And remember this, we need your comments in the comment section. We appreciate if you come with suggestions.
And
If you have
good feedback.
good feedback, ideas on topics you want to hear about. Let Barry know what you want to have him, research, or what he
Yep.
has as an American.
What you want to hear about America that you don't hear in Sweden. You don't have access
Exactly.
to it. Any topics you want to talk about?
Exactly.
Yep,
And
absolutely.
remember to write, you can also write emails to us to socialnewsnetworktv@gmail.com.
Yep.
And we will answer your emails if you write letters about Sweden, America, or topics that you want us to talk about. We will answer your letters, and if they are of special interest, we'll even read the letters to the viewers if that's something you want us to do.
I would like to, our next episode, I would like to talk about Sweden and Scandinavia and Finland and you're joining or not joining NATO, stuff like that, and what Ukraine and what the fear of Russia's, everyone's talking about, he's not going to stop at Ukraine. He wants to go on to other Baltic states.
I have
So
a lot.
I would like to talk about that maybe as a topic for our next episode.
Absolutely. I
Okay.
have a lot of input from great people that are subscribing to my channel and other Swedish channels. And we're doing a live about this in a couple of days in Swedish. And I think that I will put down something for you, Barry, and you can do your research in America about NATO, what the Americans think, and so on. And we'll talk about that, because
Okay.
it's very interesting because the Baltic countries, Estonia, Lithuania, and so on, and Finland they have a long border to Russia, and
Yeah.
we're close to Finland. We have a border up north with Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Russia. And people, they think differently. 50% of Swedes want us to join NATO to be secure, to get help from America, and so on. And the other 50% thinks that no, we should be neutral because we would just piss Putin off. So
Okay.
all of these topics and what happens in Ukraine and Russia, we can go through in more detail in the next episode then.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great.
So where are we today? We're coming into Easter Thursday tomorrow, and then it's Friday, Easter evening there, and so on. So yeah, we can talk about that, you and me, but in a couple of days, over the weekend, maybe we can do an episode.
Yeah. Yeah,
About
that
this.
works.
Okay,
Okay.
Barry. So we'll say good night from Sweden and whatever time it is in.
Good afternoon and good night from America.
Exactly. And we'll talk soon.
Okay.
Take care, everybody.
Peace out.